Welcome back to Travels with Alicia. In this episode, I will talk about the island of Jamaica. My interest in Jamaica goes back decades. So right now, I'm building my Travels with Alicia website, and I was trying to think of something to put in the About Me section. So I decided to share a story that I told in the second grade. I told everyone I was moving to Jamaica and that I would not be back to school in September. I actually still don't know why I told this lie. I think I must have been just so bored. But this was the first moment that I kind of knew I wanted to travel and go places. I must have seen a story or an ad for Jamaica, and it really stuck with me. So, fast forward, Jamaica was one of the first places I actually visited when I started traveling. I even went back 3 times early in my travels. So let me tell you a little bit about the island. It's kind of wide. It's about 145 miles from east to west, but it's not very deep. So 25 to 50 miles from north to south, depending where you are on the island. The island's actually the size of Connecticut. It's about 90 miles south of Cuba, and it takes about an hour and a half flight from Miami. So that's just a little bit about where it is. It's located in the Caribbean, and it's the 3rd largest island. So the largest island is Cuba, and then the 2nd largest island is the island that's shared by Haiti and Dominican Republic, and then the 3rd largest island is Jamaica. So Jamaica is a very large island and very unique. There is so much culture and history. It's much more than just a pretty place with beaches. It gained independence from British rule in 1962, but it's still part of the Commonwealth. One of the things I thought was really interesting is that Ian Fleming wrote all the James Bond thrillers in Jamaica. And Jamaica was also the first Caribbean island to launch a website. And last random fact here is that Jamaica is home to one of the largest butterfly species in the world. So if you're into butterflies, it'd be really interesting. I've heard they're like maybe 7 or 8 inches wide. So you can look that up and see that. The other thing that's interesting about Jamaica is there are several very worldwide famous Jamaicans. And I know you've heard of these people. The first being Bob Marley. So Bob Marley died in 1981, but he was a legendary Jamaican singer, songwriter, and guitarist. He popularized reggae music worldwide. His most famous hit is called One Love, and he's known for spreading messages of peace and social justice. So that's really the history of music in Jamaica. I mean, Bob Marley was one of the first that really made it popular outside of Jamaica. Another very famous musician is Shaggy. He is a Jamaican-American musician, and he's known for hits like It Wasn't Me and Angel. He's a 2-time Grammy Award winner, and he also is a U.S. Marine, a former U.S. Marine who served in the Gulf War. So his music's really popular as well. And honestly, if you're going to Jamaica, you do need to listen to some Bob Marley and some Shaggy, and that will really get you in the mood. The last famous person that I'm going to mention is Usain Bolt. He is known as the fastest man alive. He's a Jamaican sprinter, and he's widely regarded to be the best of all time. His nickname is Lightning Bolt, and he holds several world champions and 8 Olympic medals. He lives with his partner in Kingston, and he has 3 children, and I'm only mentioning this because I think their names are so unique. His daughter's name is Olympia Lightning, and he has twin boys, Thunder and St. Leo. So now let me just tell you a little bit more about Jamaica and where you should go as a tourist. What should you go and what should you do while you're there? Tourists in Jamaica primarily visit 3 places: Montego Bay, Negril, and Ochos Rios. Montego Bay is by far the easiest arrival experience. I mean, it's literally 5 to 20 minutes anywhere from the airport. And Montego Bay is located between Negril and Ochos Rios. So it's easy to do day trips to either of these places. So Montego Bay is famous for its white sand beaches, and there's a lively night strip called the Hip Strip, and they also have a lot of golf courses. It's known for very upscale all-inclusives, such as Sandals and the Secret chains. And I have been to two at least in Jamaica, 2 Sandals resorts, both in Montego Bay and in Negril. It's been a while, but they were really, really nice. These type of resorts are really nice for those who really want to do little planning. It's a definite vacation. You sit on the beach, you eat, you drink, but you can also take day trips to do adventures. So today, while I totally enjoyed those all-inclusives, I like to try to travel more than just vacation. And there are some great hotels that I'd like to tell you about in Montego Bay that if I go back to Jamaica, and I hope to, I would stay at one of these hotels. So the first hotel is Half Moon. And this is a 400-acre estate. It's only about 10 to 15 minutes from the airport, but it's like a self-contained village. They even have an equestrian center. You can swim with the horses. They have a lot of golf. They have, of course, dining, and they're home to a restaurant called Sugar Mill, which is one of the best in Jamaica. It's very family-friendly, and they have lots of youth programs. This place ranges from hotel rooms, or you can rent villas, 5 to 7 bedroom villas that include cooks, housekeepers, and butlers. So it's a really interesting resort if you wanted to go with your family and get away from the all-inclusives. Also, some of the all-inclusives don't allow children. So I think there are a few like beaches that do, but most of them are not all family friendly. So this would be a good choice, Half Moon Resort. Another one, and this is the one I think I would probably book, it's called Round Hill. It's very secluded. It's on a 110-acre peninsula, and it's about 25 minutes outside of Montego Bay. But this is the legendary hotel where celebrities went, and there's this very old school elegance. So it's like staying at a private club or a friend's luxury estate. So they have Ian Fleming stayed here many times. The Kennedys honeymooned here. A lot of the rooms are designed by Ralph Lauren, who's actually a part owner of this resort. So you can see this just has a different feel. It also has a very, very nice spa, and it is known for afternoon tea, which kind of ties it to the British connection of being under British rule. So the next thing I want to share with you, so I've talked about all-inclusives. I told you about 2 great hotels, but let's also just touch on the dining. We've already mentioned Sugar Mill, which is at the Half Moon Resort, and that is a very upscale, nice restaurant. But there's another restaurant called the Houseboat Grill, and that is like a floating houseboat, and you can eat there and see amazing sunsets. But even more important are the local casual places that really just speak to the food of Jamaica. One is called Scotchies, and it's famous for their authentic jerk chicken and pork. And then you have to go to the Pelican Grill, which is a classic Jamaican breakfast. And they have local dishes. So these are places just to remember if you're in Montego Bay. Some of the best things to do if you're there, they actually have a lagoon that you can swim where the microorganisms are blue and they glow at night. You may have heard about that. There are certain places around the world that you can do this. One of the places is in Jamaica. They also have beautiful beaches and snorkeling, diving. For culture, there is you could visit the Rose Hall Great House. It's a historic plantation, but they have night ghost tours, so that kind of could be fun. They also do river rafting, and then there's the strip that has the bars, shopping, and nightlife. I also mentioned this earlier that you could do day trips to either Negril or to Ocho Rios. So both of those places, you're right in the middle, and you can enjoy that. So again, Montego Bay is probably the most famous because it's the easiest to get to. And then next, I'll talk about Ocho Rios. This is actually a port town on Jamaica's north coast, and it's known more for waterfalls, gardens. They have a very famous place called Dunn's River Falls, and you can climb the limestone waterfalls. I actually did this, and I even remember, even though it was a long time ago, I remember I felt like I was going to die. I mean, I'm sure it's not that dangerous, but basically it's 60 feet straight up, and we did a tour. I think we were in Montego Bay, and we did go visit Dunn's River Fall adventure from the hotel, or from the all-inclusive. And when you get there, it's very touristy. I mean, there's people trying to sell you things, and that's okay. That's part of, you expect that. But then they put you with a guide, and everyone just links arms, and you climb up this waterfall. So literally, if one person were to fall, I think you would be like a dominoes where everyone would be going down the waterfall. So I'm glad I did it. I probably wouldn't do it again. But I mean, these guys do know what they're doing. I think they put a guide on either side, but for me, it was a little bit nerve-wracking. But there's also so many other adventurous things you can do. They have something called the Blue Hole, which is a natural mineral pools, and there's some waterfalls near that, and cliff jumping. There's river tubing and rafting. There's ATV tours. You can go on catamaran cruises. So Ocho Rios has a lot to do in that area. So the last place I'm going to mention is another place that I stayed, and it's called Negril. And it's more romantic, and it took about 2 hours from the airport to get there. So I remember it was a long ride, but has a beautiful beach called 7 Mile Beach, and it's white, beautiful sand. They have also in this area dramatic limestone cliffs where people go cliff jumping, and it's just really more of a laid-back experience. So there are many top all-inclusives also on 7 Mile Beach, so you have that. But there are places to stay outside of the all-inclusives. You can stay in the cliffs. There's a lot of little boutique hotels, and that would be fun. In addition, they have a lighthouse there, and they have snorkeling and diving experiences. So some of the things you could do, again, if you want to just get away from the super touristy experiences, since we're still in Negril, is to stay in Negril's West End, which is the cliffs. They have many nice hotels, usually real small ones. And then they have great places to eat, like Rick's Cafe is really famous. Another place you could go is actually Kingston. This is the cultural capital for live music. This is where the Bob Marley Museum is. So Kingston's a city, and I will say there's not tons of tourists there. If you want to visit it, it's safe. I mean, not to wander by yourself, but you can stay in a hotel, you can take tours and see everything there is to do around Kingston. Another thing is the Blue Mountains. The Blue Mountains are perfect for hiking, for nature lovers, and visiting coffee plantations. And in the Blue Mountains, there are several very highly rated hotels. One I'll just call out is Strawberry Hill. And this hotel is a mountaintop retreat, and it's very luxurious. It has white painted cottages, an infinity pool, and a full service spa. And it's regarded for a connection to Chris Blackwell. I had not heard of him. He is a legendary Jamaican record producer, and he is the one who founded Island Records in Jamaica in 1959, and he was the one that brought Bob Marley's music to the world. And he is connected to the Strawberry Hill Hotel. So this is something that would be interesting to go see that place. I also want to talk about the food and drinks of Jamaica, because Jamaica is so unique. I mean, no one's not heard of Jamaican rum. And I do know that many Caribbean islands have their own rum, but it's Jamaica that has the most expensive rum in the world. It comes from the Appleton Estate, and they have a 50-year-old rum that is officially the most expensive rum in the world. So that would be cool to visit that estate and get to try that. It's actually located in the sugarcane belt. So you would get to see the big sugarcane fields, and that would be very interesting. It's 1 hour from Montego Bay, so it's definitely doable. Also, Jamaica is known for one of the world's rarest and expensive coffees. The Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee is fantastic. It's expensive. It's also often nicknamed the champagne of coffees. And so going and doing a tour of one of the estates. So when we say Blue Mountain Coffee, there's actually several estates to go visit. And you can go see them, see how the coffee is produced. You can try the coffees. It's extremely smooth and it lacks like a bitterness. It's a very mild flavor, but rated extremely high. So make sure you do that if you get to Jamaica. And to end, I think I'd like to just mention some of the best food that you really need to get out and try. One is ackee and saltfish. It's eaten for breakfast. It's basically a fruit sauteed with salted cod. And it's their national dish. I feel like everyone has to try it. I think I tried it. I mean, I liked it. I didn't love it. But what I did love was jerk chicken. And so that's probably their most famous. While the other is their national dish, if you look around the world, they're most known for jerk chicken. And you can find that pretty much in many, many countries. It's a meat that's been marinated in a spicy blend of bonnet peppers and allspice, and it's slow cooked over pimento wood. And so it gets this very interesting flavor. You can pretty much find it anywhere in Jamaica, and I highly recommend it. The other two things that they're really known for are curry goat and oxtail stew. Both of these are just amazing dishes that are cooked for a long time, and the meat just falls apart, and it's wonderful and delicious. So I hope you have enjoyed learning more about Jamaica and enjoyed this episode of Travels with Alicia. I enjoyed sharing my experiences and information about the culture and the island. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you get to visit Jamaica someday.